Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Dream Life Club podcast. Today, we've got the amazing guest, Hannah Avison, with us. Welcome, Hannah.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Yes, me too. I am really excited for this conversation. Before we dive in, I like to read people's official bios so that then people know who we're talking to, and then we can get deep into the real stuff underneath. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Okay. Hannah Avison is a #1 charting songwriter, content creator, and music activist. She has made her mark on the industry from many angles. She wrote the #1 hit Echo by Eva Campbell and has co-written with incredible talent such as Marshmello, Lauv, Ava Max, Fletcher, Jordin Sparks, Kaylee Shore, Nacho Ichino, Carly Hansen, among many other global artists. She's made the music industry a safer, more fair space by teaming up with songwriter rights advocacy group The 100%ers, where she currently serves as their head of community outreach. Some of her triumphs include creating a viral video addressing grooming in the music industry with over 6 million views, organizing a Pride songwriting camp that celebrates queer talent, and helping to develop a program that awards grants to songwriters in financial need. So not only is she an amazing songwriter, but she has a huge heart. Whether it's in the studio or the boardroom, Hannah is a key player in the music industry. So welcome, Hannah.
Thank you. Oh my God, the introduction. I'm like, I feel really cool right now.
Yeah, well, you are.
Well, thank you. And it's such a pleasure to be here. I love this podcast, and
Yay.
I'm so excited to yap with you.
Yeah. I think the coolest thing is when you get all these super successful writers and artists and entertainment leaders in the room just sitting down to have a conversation, and you realize everyone's just fucking human, you know, and it's not something our listeners are people who want to have a creative career or have a creative career and are figuring out how to get to the next level. Mm-hmm. And it's just realizing and remembering, this podcast has done that for me. It's helped me realize and remember that everybody's just a human, no matter how impressive their bio.
100%.
You know?
I think the most special thing about, because you're a musician as well and you write with other people, when you go into a room with somebody, it doesn't matter what they've done or who they've written with or what, accolades they have. We go in and we all talk about the same heartbreak. We go in, we all talk about the same family issues or friend breakups, because there's so many human things that bring us together that everything else just kind of melts away, and you get to be vulnerable with a stranger for 3 hours.
You must see that so clearly, being in the room as a writer for so long with so many of these huge artists. When did you first get into writing?
Okay, so I got into writing when I was 8 years old because I was bullied. I was super bullied. But I don't think I realized how bullied I was. I was always looking out for the kid who was more bullied than me. Meanwhile, no one would play with me at recess. So I'd be doing crunches on the side of the blacktop because I was a little heavier, growing up. I was a size 10 women's in the 5th grade. And I'd be doing crunches.
Me too.
Yeah.
Shout out to, I was called Pleasantly Plump when I was in 5th grade.
Pleasantly Plump. And you know what? I'm very body positive.
Yes.
But when I was that age and I didn't feel like I belonged and I was doing these crunches on the side of the blacktop, I was writing songs inside my head. That's when I started. Because I was fantasizing about being a pop star.
Right.
I was putting myself somewhere else.
Right.
Yeah. So that's when I started.
That's so common, actually. Because your imagination starts going, and that was probably what makes you such a good writer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that plus the ADHD, being able to go to weird places creatively because my brain is constantly here and there and up and down.
Yeah.
But I think that being bullied was the thing that kind of made me want to be something bigger than a kid doing crunches on the side of the blacktop because she was, insecure about who she was and no one accepted her.
Right.
So that was the beginning of it.
Yeah.
And luckily, I had parents who were really supportive. They were putting me in songwriting camps and they were putting me in programs and they were supporting the art that I was creating. I won my first contest when I was 8 and then made songwriting my entire personality. And that's kind of where it started.
Wow. So where did you grow up? What part of the country?
Grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, in the South.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And what was the music community like when you were a kid growing up there?
I was in choir. I wrote songs. I think there was some songwriting club that I was in high school and middle school. But other than that, I was in girls' choir outside of school. I was in musical theater in school, still a huge musical theater nerd.
Okay, yeah.
I love musical theater. But I didn't really have anything too much outside of that realm. And then I started going to camps at Berklee College of Music during the summer when I was in high school.
Nice.
So that was more contemporary.
Yeah.
There was a girl group. I remember when I was in high school, I auditioned to be in a girl group, like a TLC or a Destiny's Child in Atlanta. And it was like 3 days of like conditioning and singing for all these adult people. And they were like, I know Beyonce's hairdresser. Like nobody knew anybody.
Yeah.
But they kind of ran us through all these tests and trials for us to then at the real end of it be like, oh, this is nothing. And it was just like a weird experience. And that was my only like.
Wait, what do you mean for at the end for them to be like, this is nothing?
It just wasn't a real thing. I think it was something they were like trying. Like it was a thing, but it wasn't a thing.
Oh,
you know
I see,
what I mean?
I
It was like people who thought that they were hot stuff. And they really.
So a lot of like delusions of grandeur for what they thought they were putting together.
Yes. And that kind of brings me into like I've done every side quest possible.
Okay.
Like even at a young age, I was doing every creative thing I can get my hands on that would make my life more interesting and the story more intriguing.
Like what?
I mean, if we want to go into weird jobs, I worked at a carnival when I was in college as a costume character. I was an off-brand Dora the Explorer. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. Like, it was just a side hustle money thing.
Yeah.
But I would choose that over working at a Zara.
Is that the weirdest side hustle you've had or side job you've had?
One of them. I'm trying to think of which ones I want to declare publicly. I mean, okay, I kind of I worked for an OnlyFans company once.
Okay.
And I'm very pro sex worker, all of that. But essentially I was responding as the girls. Like as a songwriter, I'm very good at writing
that's amazing.
sexy music. And so I worked that job and it was a horrible job. They were so mean. The management was so mean.
Okay.
And
wait, so you worked for a creator?
I worked for a management company that had a bunch of OnlyFans creators.
Okay, so you were responding as many different people.
As many different girls.
Okay,
yeah. A lot of those management companies do that, where they hire men, women, a lot of writers, a lot of songwriters, because we're good with words.
This is so funny.
To respond. So that was another side hustle.
I don't think most people know that happens.
It's like, I think I've heard it through the grapevine. I knew before, but like it was just absolutely messy and chaotic. And the management was crazy. And I got to do it with some of my friends. We all were kind of in it together. But at the end of the day, they were doing all these practices that weren't legal. Like as far as like we weren't allowed to take breaks, stuff like that, because we had to respond within 3 minutes. And so that was bonkers.
That is bonkers.
Yeah. One day, the head of that company tried to tear me a new one for not doing some trivial thing. There were actually like bigger things he could have called me out on, but he tried to call me out on this trivial thing. And I just was straight up like, hey, so you're doing this illegal thing, and this illegal thing. Next week is Christmas. I quit. I'm bringing my friends with me. Good luck. Yeah. And then I found out he immediately changed his practices like right after that.
Interesting.
Because I was like, you literally can't do that.
Like actually, using your voice to,
of course,
create change.
Because like
everywhere you go,
no matter what you're doing, you should be treated with respect and human decency.
Absolutely.
So I've literally done every side hustle possible, and that one was just funny because it was like literally like professional sexting, which is crazy. But hey, someone's got to do it, right? It's a living.
And I'm sure it was like, but it wasn't like just sexting, right? There was probably like a lot of like other like creating intimacy and emotional connection and right? Like
there were a lot of, I mean, like a lot of the clients, they like had relationships with these models and in their eyes, like these were real. Like they'd be like, I went to the paint store today and figured out my bathroom paint color.
Right,
and
because
like,
most of these people are mostly just lonely.
They're super lonely. And I think the one thing that I've gathered from being a songwriter and all these side hustles is human nature and how we all just want to be loved and we all want to be accepted and we want someone who cares to say, how are you doing? And like during COVID, I was a part of TikTok's live streaming program, like their pioneer program. And through live streaming, I just realized I was like, there's such a need for creating this space where people feel friendship. There's so many people who don't have friendship in their life. And so whether it's writing a song that makes someone feel that sense of belonging or with the content that I do on social media now, it's about creating the experience of being around friends. Like my videos have people laughing with me, or we're laughing at each other, and
Right.
it's very off the cuff and it's very raw.
Right.
Because I want people to feel that friendship.
Yeah.
There's so many people who have like PTSD from, being a vet, and so they can't leave their home, so they don't have that friendship, or people who live in towns that don't understand them.
Yeah.
And so my goal as a creator and as a songwriter is to open up my circle and let people feel like they belong and they're a part of the joke and they get to experience what friendship feels like.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I think like those parasocial relationships today are so they're so normal, even for podcasters. Like I feel like, people who listen to our voice in their heads every single week or multiple times a week, you start to feel like we're friends,
Yeah.
And so I think that it also it is a real thing, and it adds something to people's lives, even if we're not like, in their life as an actual friend. But it is
100%.
It is a sharing of love and a sharing of energy across the frequency waves.
Absolutely.
Actually, I read this interesting study today that was like they actually did a research study on whether or not like the presence of talking to an AI, like an LLM, like ChatGPT or Claude or whatever it is, versus talking to a human being that's your friend versus talking to an anonymous person who's a human.
Okay.
Like which one of those three things made people feel less lonely? Okay. And it was an interesting question because like I think people are wondering that, like, is ChatGPT and Claude going to like replace, make the lonely people even lonelier because then they won't ever go out and they're just talking to their LLM all the time, right?
Yeah.
But it turned out that talking to a real friend or an anonymous person had the same effect and were much greater cures for loneliness than talking to an LLM. And the reasoning behind it was because while the LLM gives you empathy while you're talking to it, right? Like it gives you empathy. Like it's, oh no, that must be hard. Oh, you must be having a bad day. You don't give it empathy because it's, it's a fucking robot, right? But I was just thinking that. I was thinking of that in the sense of what you're saying, being a real human online and actually like feeling like, oh, I love Hannah's content or like whatever it is that somebody might be watching. Like they know you're a real person.
Yeah.
So they're going to give you empathy for whatever you're sharing. So it might be much better. It's like definitely is much better than connecting with an LLM.
Yeah.
No,
and I think that's the thing. At the end of the day, if I'm talking to someone who I know has been through that similar experience, let's go back to the songwriting room. Everyone's had a breakup.
Everyone has had a breakup. That's why the most personal is the most universal.
That's why we love love songs, and we also love breakup, heartbreak songs because we know what that feels like. And so to have somebody listening to you about your breakup who nods their head and they ask questions and they're like bringing their own anecdotes to the mix, you feel validated because not only are you telling something to somebody that, they're saying, yes, I get it, but yes, they get it.
Yeah.
Makes the world a difference.
No, as an artist, like having writers in the room, like just being like, so curious and listening and wanting, and then I get to share all the random weird things. It's like, I mean, it is therapy. It is therapy.
100%. It is
therapeutic.
It's so, the amount of times I have cried in a songwriting session, if I had $1, I would make all my money as a songwriter because there's no money in songwriting. But that would make it.
Yeah. So, okay. So tell us, you have a really interesting story about like writing for Marshmello. Tell us about that.
That is the funniest. I love my stories where I think the best things in life are things that happen that you're not expecting, right? Like they're the things that just happen and it makes your story so much more interesting. And
we met at a freaking restaurant on Abbott Kinney randomly because we have a common friend.
That was so random. And I love these random happenings. And so what happened was my manager at the time sent me a message or he called me or something like that. And I was already in a songwriting session. He said, hey, there's a camp for Marshmello going on right now. They need another writer. Somebody dropped out. Can you go? I'm in this session. I look around at my co-writers. I'm like, I got to go now. Everyone understood. I jumped in an Uber. I got to the spot. And when I got in there, I worked with this producer from Boston. He was so lovely. And we were there to write for Marshmello. Now, I thought we were writing for Marshmello, not with Marshmello. Nowhere in my wildest dreams did I expect him to be there. And what we know about Marshmello is he wears a marshmallow head, right?
Right.
There is a face reveal online. this all happened so fast. I had no like thought to look that up.
Right.
So we're in the room, we're trucking on this song, and this guy comes in with a tea. And he hands it to the producer. And so in my head, logically, I'm like, this is either another producer or this is a runner, like the person who's going around and doing all the, setups and getting the coffees and all that stuff. And this guy's listening to the song and he's like, I like it, but I don't know if I like this chord progression, or like, what scale is this? And he's getting into the theory and he's talking about the different things of like what we could do to shift the song to make it, in his opinion, cooler. And I'm just like, whoa, this runner is crushing it.
Oh, you thought he was like a
I thought he
runner.
was like into like a studio runner. I was like, wow, he's got some great ideas. And he introduces himself and he says, hey, I'm Chris. And again, at the time, didn't click that Chris was Marshmello, because I knew that Chris, like Marshmello's name is Chris.
But it was
Chris it wasn't clocking. It was Chris with the coffee and the tea.
Yeah.
And so we worked for a good bit, probably about 30 minutes. And then he was like, okay, I got to dip out. And I was like, okay, bye, Chris, my new buddy, Chris. And once he left the room, I turned to the producer and I was like, wow, that guy was so nice. Is he like a producer or like a runner? And the producer who I was working with, the one from Boston, looked at me and he said, Hannah, that's Marshmello. And I'm like, cool, sick. And I felt like the biggest dummy in the world. But to be honest, next time I work with Marshmello, I am just so excited to be like, so when I met you, I thought you were like a hired hand.
Yeah.
But
like so
really loved what you're doing.
No, that's so relatable though.
Yeah.
Because like, how are you supposed to like remember? Like, how are you supposed to look up what he looked like? Like,
it made it way more interesting.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. That's so cool. So, what's been your like one of your favorite like writing experiences?
That is so hard. I mean, I have a favorite song that I've written, and it's kind of a little bit of a downer story.
Okay.
But my favorite song I've written and I will ever write, I wrote when I was in high school.
Okay.
And there was this girl named Lona who I didn't know, but she was also trying to be a musician and an artist and a dancer. And she was friends with my friends. And one day she was running around the house with her sister, and she had a heart condition. And she went into, I think, like heart failure. When she was running around, something happened. She went into heart failure and she passed away. And she didn't even make it. Yeah, it's super sad. She didn't make it to her junior year or prom. Like, she missed a lot of these big milestones. And I didn't know her, but my friends knew her. And I had a relative pass around that time. And I had this song by Jimmy Eat World called Hear You Me that I listened to, and it helped me with my grieving process. So me being the person I am, I'm like, I want to make something for my friends to help them with the grieving process, because I know how important this song has been for me. And music is cool because it can immortalize people. A song lasts forever. And again, no intention of releasing this song. I just wanted to make it for my friends. It was for them privately, and it got out to her parents. And I think they were very spiritual people, so they felt, it was their daughter spiritually coming through, and like through me, I guess. And the song just gave them this sense of peace, and I would perform it at the memorials years and years after that. So that's the most important song I've ever done, the most important session I've ever done, because music has the ability to help people connect, even if they're connecting with people who are no longer with us. But as far as sessions go, I mean, I am so lucky that I get to work with my best friends. Most of my sessions are with artists I've worked with for years and years and years, and people who've become my absolute family. So, like I did a camp. It's the best. I did a camp this last year. And it was in Colorado with my best girlfriends, Kaylee, Katie, and Grace. And we just got to write songs, like 2 songs a day, every day. One day we went horseback riding because this camp was at a dude ranch. And we're all on horses. It's like me and the girls, the producers were with. We get to the very end of this ride.
Did you already like horse ride? Did you know
when I was a kid? I was awkward. There were some horse girls in the group. I was not one of them. But at the end of this ride, hail started coming down. And we were getting pelted with hail. And the horses like turned their backs to the hail, but they refused to move. So we're just like stuck in a hailstorm for like 5 minutes getting pelted on top of horses. And I think it's the memories around the sessions that make them so special. And the people you're with. I write a lot of songs I'm proud of and a lot of songs I love, but I'm proud of them and I love them because of the people I get to write them with and the experiences around that. So no like specific session to answer your question.
No, that makes sense. And so like, okay, but so you moved, when did you move to LA?
I moved to LA 11 years ago via New York.
So I'm going to ask you a little bit about like your career progression because I think people listening would be interested to know like, okay, so how did you get to the point where you could just like write songs with all your besties, you know?
Of course.
So what did that look like? So you moved to LA and like what did you start doing?
Okay, so I talk to everybody. Believe it or not, I do not know a stranger. I made friends everywhere I went, and I always put out what I want most in this world. And so I'm talking to people. I'm like, I'm a songwriter. I love writing pop music. I love writing rock music. EDM, whatever. Put me in, coach.
Okay.
And so I just talked to everybody, and I did my cold outreaches. And
did you have no like fear if you were good enough or anything like that coming up?
I'm sure. I mean, we all do. Like, to be an artist is to have insecurity, right? To have that imposter syndrome. But that also holds you back because every time I didn't reach out to somebody, I was missing an opportunity because you never know who's going to say yes, especially when you're a baby writer or baby artist. You might have caught someone on a day where they needed somebody. The Marshmello session, I wasn't supposed to be in that. I was a substitute, and I'm happy to be a substitute for cool experiences. So I was just talking to everyone, and I was like, let's write. And so you write with a lot of different people, and then you start finding people who match your freak, and then you start writing more with them. I've had managers on and off. But my greatest advice is just ask. You never know unless you just ask people like, let's write.
Yeah. Love that. And were you getting paid for your writing sessions in the beginning?
No. I still don't always get paid. And to be honest, I think this industry and being an advocate for songwriters' rights.
Yeah.
I made a joke earlier about, if I had $1 for every time I cried in the studio, I'd make more than I've made as an actual songwriter, which, is an exaggeration. But truthfully, when music changed from being CDs and cassettes and tangible forms of media to streaming, the world of music never really rearranged itself to make it sustainable for songwriters. Like songwriters get like percentages, like tiny little pinches of a penny every time a song is streamed because you're splitting it with other people. And a lot of songwriters are not awarded master points and they're not given fees for their time. Producers usually get fees. You have to ask for that. Even asking for master points feels like fighting tooth and nail. And so I have done sessions where, I get paid for my time being there, and I'm doing obviously more of those. And now that I've gotten credits, I have the ability to say, hey, look, this is what I've done. This is why I deserve my rate. But nobody wants to have to fight to prove their worth. And that's what it feels like to be a songwriter in 2026, whether you are new, whether you've written major smashes, and that's across the board.
Yeah. We had Michelle Lewis, one of the founders of Sona, here on the pod. But tell us about 100%ers, which also fights for songwriter rights, right? Like, what's their mission?
So Tiffany read during COVID. So this is how I got into it, and I'll get into 100. During COVID, I think I was just like alone in my room. I was thinking about being a songwriter, and I had this realization, and this was true at the time. There was no Songwriter of the Year award. So not only was I not making money, but the biggest award show to celebrate music didn't celebrate songwriters. There was a Producer of the Year award, but there was no Songwriter of the Year award.
At the Grammys, you mean?
At the Grammys, yeah. Oh, what did I say?
In general.
Oh, in general, yeah, at the Grammys. I'm like, at the Oscars.
Because, there are like little other like songwriter,
of course,
Hall of Fame awards and various things like that.
Yeah. At the Grammys.
At the Grammys, right.
And so I just started bawling my eyes out because I'm like, cool, I have to fight for master points. I'm not making money. I'm getting gaslit in these email chains, people trying to take away what I'm supposed to be owed. And just in general, the treatment of songwriters is so sad. We are bottom of the pile. But now,
which is crazy because
insane.
I mean, and when you're a songwriter, correct me if I'm wrong, in your experience, when you're contributing lyrics and melody, not just lyrics
and melody, oftentimes you're helping an artist with their image. You're like helping.
You literally help them get out the most authentic version of what they want to say, like
how they want to present social plans.
The entire freaking impact. Anyways, okay, go on.
So, I'm just bawling my eyes out. I look so sad. Like, I've got mascara on the face. I took photos because whenever you're crying that hard, you kind of got to take photos because you look crazy.
Nice.
And in that moment, I decided I'm not allowed to cry about this anymore unless I'm also fighting to make it a better place.
Yeah.
And so I started making content because I was also a content creator at the time. I started making content in 2015. And I started making content kind of pulling away the veil because we're taught as songwriters, fake it till you make it. As musicians, we're told fake it till you make it. Make people think you have more money, cooler clothing, better cars than you actually do because success invites success. But I think that's such a devastating and debilitating concept.
Yes, I 100% agree.
Yeah, because no one's ever going to know why there's an issue in the system if the system doesn't seem broken.
Yeah.
So when you ask for a fee or you ask for master points, people are like, you're fine. Why are you overreaching? But you're like actually making $30 on all the songs you've been writing because the percentages are chopped up between multiple people and the royalty rates are so itty bitty tiny.
Yeah.
So I started making content. And then I noticed Tiffany Red, who was also making content. She had, this organization called 100%ers. And so I would just like DM her and be like, I have this idea. I think you should do this. It's going to make such a big impact. And we started back and forthing ideas. And one day she called me up and she was like, hey, do you want to jump in on this board meeting? And I was like, whoa, that feels official. I feel like I need a tie. That feels so official. And she put me in this meeting. And it was all of these writers who I admired, who had written these incredible earworm pop records or just amazing records in general. And honestly, I felt a little like new kid in school, like what do I even have to say that's exciting to them? But we got to the point about social media, that part of the meeting. And I just, floodgates, I was just like, what about this? What about this? What about this? And people got excited. And so that was the beginning of it. And 100's mission is to make the industry a safer, more sustainable, supportive place for songwriters because it's not just about money. It's also about safety. I was in Diddy's room years ago, and it was as horrible as you could imagine. I've been in situations with just like the utmost disrespect. Like you would expect the music industry to be a lot more professional than it is.
Yeah.
And if no one's out there fighting for it, nobody's going to change it.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about 100 is they're saying the true, real stuff. They're being candid, and a lot of people are afraid of being blunt about what the state of the way things are. But I'm just so grateful to be able to be in a circle with people who really believe in change.
Oh, I'm
for
gonna
the
have
better.
to check them out because
Yeah.
I don't know about them. So yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Well, we
I'm
just
gonna
had a
have to do
Pride camp
things.
that just
Okay.
finished yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Which was incredible.
Okay.
It was just a space for LGBTQIA plus creators to get together to make music in a space where they didn't have to like code switch. They could just be themselves authentically and create art. And we listened to the songs last night and they were so good.
Oh,
I woke up with some of them stuck in my head, and
That's so
everyone just had
beautiful.
so much joy about being able to be their authentic self in a space with other people who understood the struggles they've been through.
Totally. I love that you're doing that. I love that you are like doing so much for like community advocacy too, because I think that's so important to not just be focused, because actually it is like it takes a village to build a successful career as a creative, I think, you know? And so if you're just so focused on like, how can I get my next like big hit or whatever, I think that is really like the wrong mentality. And you're such an example of how like tapping into community and being involved with lifting everybody up is actually most supportive of your own career as well, right?
Absolutely. I'm the kind of person, I've gotten to this place in my life where I'm not trying to break down doors that aren't opening for me. I think for a long time, I felt like there was a certain way to be successful, right? And now I'm just open to, if somebody says, Hannah, we want you to be a part of this, tell me about it. I would love to learn more. Sounds fun. I'm not trying to put myself in a space where there's no room for me at the table. Instead, I'm going to make my own table.
Yes.
And I'm going to build my own stuff. And people who get it. And if they don't, that's okay. Everyone's got an opinion. And when you create your own table and you surround it with your community and you nourish that community and you take care of the people around you, I mean, isn't that just a beautiful place to live?
Yes.
Like, I want to make people feel loved and cherished and taken care of and supported. So at the end of the day, that's the most important thing to me. I don't need to chase the next hit. The next hit will happen if I build a community that feels loved and they feel supported.
That is Like mic drop right there. Like I hope everybody heard that and really felt that, because that sounds to me like you're saying that's your definition of success. Like that's what it that's what it looks like to have a successful life.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I am my bank account won't agree with me, but I am rich. I have the coolest friends in my life. And by that I mean I've gone through weird things in the last year, and the way my friends have come up around me and they've shown support in their own ways. The way that we all get to do weird creative things together and go on strange adventures, and every day feels so special.
Yeah.
I'm so lucky. And that's why I want to bring that through my music and through my content, is because I get to be around this community. I built this table. I have the coolest, most interesting, talented people surrounding me, sitting in chairs to my left and right. That's what everyone deserves.
That's so beautiful, Hannah. I want to ask you, because what if someone's listening and they're like, oh my God, like I'm so inspired, but it's making me feel worse because like I don't have those people around me. And like, how do I start to build that? Do you have any advice?
Yes. First, I'm giving you a virtual hug right now because that's a horrible feeling. I have felt that. I've felt lonely. Loneliness is the worst disease, you know? I don't want anyone to ever experience loneliness if I can help it, which I don't have any power in that capacity. But if I could, I would be my superpower. But how do you find that is your question?
Yeah,
right?
like how do you start? I don't know. How do you start building community and building people around you who you love and love you if you don't have that yet?
Okay. Ask yourself, what do you love? What brings you joy? Is it gardening? Is it video games? Is it working out? Is it making music? Once you know what those things are that bring you joy, and that might be some reflection, that might be trying some hobbies out and seeing what sticks. Find what you love. Go to the space where you do the things you love. So if it's video games, maybe it's an online forum for people who love XYZ video game. If it's working out, that's the gym. If it's music, there are so many music events. Go to these spaces where other people who have the same interest live, and they go and they thrive, and just say hi, which is horrifying. I get that. But say hi, make a conversation. If the conversation feels good, we should be friends. Let's connect. Here's the biggest next step. Follow up. Invite them to coffee. Invite them to another music event. Invite them to an anime expo. Invite them to go continue the conversation, and then just follow up. I know it sometimes feels like you're being pushy and you're like, well, I already followed up once. Follow up again. People get busy.
Yeah.
Don't take it personally.
Yes.
Or meet more people and just continue to meet people and create experiences. And it's a chain reaction.
Oh my God, literally such good advice. Such good advice that you started from the beginning in terms of like figure out what it is that you're actually interested in. Because a lot of times people don't have careers that are their passion, you know? And so especially like if you're in a corporate job and you're trying to get into music, or you're in a corporate job and you want to be a painter, or like whatever it is, it's like, okay, figure out what it is that excites you and then go find people who are doing, go to events where that thing is being talked about or done.
Absolutely.
And then take it from there.
And then take it from there.
You literally, like, that could be a whole fucking New York Times bestseller book that you just said out loud in like 3 steps.
We'll hit it together.
Let's do it.
Let's do a book. I haven't written a book before.
Dude, let's do a book. Because, like, people need, I think, you know, it is the loneliness epidemic. And, you know, people really, I think we're so isolated here in our little communities in LA because we do know what our passion is and we are following it and we are meeting. And so we forget sometimes that like most of the country and especially the world, it's a whole nother story, like don't have that access at their fingertips.
100%.
You know? Yeah.
And sometimes it is virtual. Sometimes you make online
that
friends.
too. Yeah.
But
no, I mean that access to thinking this way.
Yes,
you know?
yes. Well, I think there's also just like good energy is contagious. Sometimes bad energy is contagious. And if you're around people who are like negative Nancys and they're just like stuck in this cycle of nothing's working, what's the point? I'm unhappy. You might start thinking, nothing's working. What's the point? I'm unhappy. So if that's what's surrounding you, take a step out of that circle for a minute and try to find someone who's going to help elevate your happiness because their happiness is contagious. I love surrounding myself with people who I'm inspired by, who have just great energy and are just weirdos. Like, I'm a weirdo. I want to be around weirdos.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that so much. Yeah. Okay. Book. We have a book plan.
We have a book. Everyone buy it. Pre-order.
Everyone,
it doesn't exist yet.
Yeah. Pre-order. Okay. So you've been a content creator since 2015, you said.
Yes.
And you have a funny story about what happened to you recently in terms of...
yeah.
Well, why don't you share what happened most recently? Because as a content creator, you had a full-time job as a...
Yes, I'm going to be careful about exactly how I say this. But I had a full-time job. I loved this job. It was a creative job, and it was in social media. But as it happens sometimes, you get fired, and I get fired. And people are so afraid of getting fired, but people get fired all the time.
Oh,
right now,
babe.
there's a lot of people getting fired.
Yes.
It's very
your
common.
job could be, you could be getting fired for so many different reasons.
Yeah.
I had a very good friend who just got fired because of, random political bullshit.
Yeah.
Get fired because of AI. Get fired because of budget cuts. Like, there's just so much.
So many reasons. And I got fired, and basically they were like, you're not good at social media. And I was like, actually, I'm fucking great at social media. And the next day after I got fired, I posted a video that I had an inkling would do well. And it went viral. And then I kept posting, and they kept going viral. And then I created the first series. And the series was introducing my friends like they do on Love on the Spectrum, because I love Love on the Spectrum. It's wholesome, and it makes me feel happy and hopeful of love, and it's just so good. And so in this series, I basically have a little selfie video where it has the text hook introducing my friends like they do on Love on the Spectrum. And then the next video is, the friend smiling and waving at the camera, very sitcom. And then it's 3 stock photos of things they love. So, maybe it's like going on hikes, golden retrievers, and mint chewing gum. And then it's 2 things they don't like, which could be like rude people and bad drivers. And, I'm choosing the most ridiculous stock photos. And it was just like a really simple format, but it was intentional. Mm-hmm. Everything is a little intentional when it comes to social media in my head, because I am a maker
You purposely
of hooks.
made it like a bad-looking stock photo.
Oh, yeah, because it's funny.
Right.
But like, at the end of the day, whether you're writing a pop song or you're making a social media post, it's all about hooks. What is going to grab people in and keep them interested? And so I made a formula of how I do this specific type of content. And it had 3 uses of utility. When I mean utility, I mean like, why does this content matter? So my utility was, it's easy to replicate, meaning anyone could make it for their job. Anyone could make it for their friend, for their fiance, whatever. 2, it's funny. The stock photos were absolutely silly and unhinged. And 3, it was based off of popular TV show series. So it had all that heat. Everyone wanted, Love on the Spectrum content.
Right.
But the one piece that I could do that nobody else could do was I did a voiceover. Because I'm a vocalist, I know how to do a great narrator voice, and I can match the sound of the narrator from the series. And so I did my own little piece that was exclusively me. And people kept being like, what AI did you use? Nope, was just me.
Right.
And so it was so fun, and it went viral immediately. And it just kept, every time I posted, it got a ton of buzz. I actually got the therapist from the show to do one with me, which was incredible.
That's amazing.
I have a very special guest coming up soon, too, so I'll be dropping that one soon.
Oh.
Which is very exciting.
Okay. Is it non-disclosed yet?
Non-discled yet.
Okay.
But will be very, very soon. So you guys
So
can all see that
everybody,
on my social.
be on the lookout. We'll give you her socials at the end.
But yeah, so I created that series, and then, I had my little standalone things, and all the videos that I was making, again, played with the whole friendship thing. It'd be me and a friend doing a back and forth, and we'd be cracking up at each other. And then the next series came, which was Date My Friend Threat, that you were on.
I just did that series.
That you just did. We actually posted it today.
You did.
And that one is just like, it's a dating series, but it involves a lot of humor. And I think that, again, the utility there was people are interested in dating. They're like, oh my God, this person's single. What if they become my future wife? And then there's also the idea of like, I wish that I had friends who would hype me up like this, because I'm up in the camera being all mean. And the truth is, I look like a marshmallow and I act like a marshmallow. I'm sweet and gooey, and there's not a mean bone in my body.
Right.
And so it was, like,
you can
silly
kind of
funny.
tell when you're doing that because
Yeah.
it's like clearly like exaggerated and
very
fun.
goofy.
Yeah.
It's very like Michael Scott coded in a way.
Yeah.
And so after my first month of just creating intentionally and for myself, I had 6.4 million impressions on my page. And that was a great feeling after being told I was not good at social media.
Love that so much.
Love a little cute, little pettiness, like clocking. You know?
Oh, absolutely. So like,
Yeah.
okay, wait. So what was that first video that went viral the day after you got fired?
Oh my God. Okay. So I am the kind of girly who will just post anything. I think I lost my fear a long time ago. This is like actually an unhinged video. It was me and my best friend. We were at a comedy show and we went to the bathroom together as girls do. And we realized that there were like 2 toilets that were literally sitting next to each other. And it was just like an open bathroom. There was no thing in between. It was just like
Back to back, the toilets.
yeah, they were just toilet A,
next to each other.
toilet
Oh,
B. And so we were like peeing.
Yeah,
and
right
like
next to each other.
We were like covered and everything. But then when we were about to get out, I was like, wait, should we take a video just sitting on the toilets next to each other? Like we weren't doing anything. We were just sitting there. She was like, yeah. And we're just like riffing off each other. And I was like, hey, so you've heard of tandem bicycles, right? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, this is not like that. And like, of course, like I can't really control who on the internet is going to appreciate my content for whatever reason. But I just thought it was funny. And it was an authentic, funny moment between me and my friend. And we were just joking about it. And that was the first video that hit. Because
so
people
funny.
were just like, it was just bizarre.
And you were working, your social media job was for music artists.
Yes.
And did you have like funny unhinged ideas there that they were like rejecting? I'm just curious.
I think that like whenever you work with a company, there tends to be a lot of red tape.
Yeah.
Like beyond getting the team on board and to believe your vision, you also have to get an artist on board to believe your vision. So the great thing about doing this for myself is I am the only one who has to say yes.
Right.
So if I want to post a video where I'm sitting on a toilet next to my friend and we're just being absolutely stupid with each other, I just need my consent and her consent.
It's so funny because like we artists and probably everybody listening is like, oh yeah, but I'm kind of precious about my page and like what I post to my main and like I have to think about it like 5 times to make sure it's on brand. And because I think especially as artists, it's constantly like, you know, make sure that your every single post should be in alignment with like the world that you're building, the universe that you're building around your art and your brand, and it can become stressful and it can like lose its playfulness, it can lose its I think juice and character and personality because it's like so try hard.
So my greatest advice, and mind you, I get it, like some people live in a very high art world where they have everything that's like a certain aesthetic and is gorgeous, and I think that's wonderful, and I think there's room for all different types of content. But I'm also like, you could get hit by a city bus tomorrow. Yeah. Have fun.
Yeah.
Let people know who you are, because sometimes when you sterilize something so much, you lose every bit of defining personality that you have. And I'm way more interested in who you authentically are than a super scrubbed down version of it.
Right.
Like at the end of the day too, also nothing really matters that much. So if you post a video and it doesn't work, life is about throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
It's about testing. It's about seeing like, okay, cool, this is going to be great, or this is going to be great. There's been so many times I put out a video that I was so excited about. Nothing. Goose eggs. Total miss. And then there's sometimes I just throw a video up haphazardly and I'm like, that's the vibe. Viral.
Right.
And so it's just like, I'm very much do it for the plot.
Yeah.
I'm very much, you know, obviously, again, like I said, I'm intentional about my content, but being
right,
intentional
and you were
doesn't
super
mean,
intentional. Like you planned out, you had those 3 aspects of what was going to make it good video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But being intentional doesn't mean being strict.
Yeah.
Like have fun.
Yeah.
Figure out who you are and then how you can present who you are, opposed to like trying to follow someone else's format.
Yeah.
Social media is rewarding original ideas. So be original. You can take like a format, right? Like a style of video, like trauma salads, like where you put everything, you're putting the candy in the salad bowl and you're saying your traumatic story. That's a format. How do you make it your own? And that's what it's about.
I love that. And just curious, because you actually like gave people a lot of social media advice right now. Like what in your 3-pronged formula of what was going to work of those viral series you've created.
Yeah.
One of them was that it's easily repeatable, like somebody could do it themselves. Do you expect other people to like copy, or do you want other people to take that and do it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially with the Love on the Spectrum series, like that got super, copied.
People started
which was so
recreating
flattering.
it? That's
yeah, and
so
they would like
cool.
tag me, and it was cool because I
Yeah.
would see it on their businesses or for their dogs or rescue dogs. Like they would be foster dogs. They would be, using this style of content to showcase a foster dog to try to get their dog adopted, which I've worked a lot with the foster, dog program and cat rescues, and I've done content on my page to help promote, getting a dog out of a shelter before it got euthanized. I do that every birthday, which is a crazy thing to do. And every year I've gotten a dog out of the shelter right before it gets euthanized. And I'm like, this is a horrible thing to do on my birthday because, like, if it goes wrong, I'm going to be so sad. But, like, I just think that having somebody take your format and use it is, like, the best compliment in the world.
Right.
But always make it your own. Find a fun flip on it, right?
I love that so much, like, because I follow so many accounts that's like social media advice and stuff, and nobody really honestly, nobody really talks about what you've just talked about. I think you added like so much value. Yeah.
It's very special to like be able to like put your own thumbprint on the world. So do it. Like put it out there.
Yeah. Do you think that doing series with like as collaborations with other people is also one of the keys? Because it sounds like that's been what it has been for you.
Yeah. Well, Instagram is rewarding people doing like a series. And so if you find something that you're like, cool, I can take this into a bunch of different chapters, like a TV show, do it. It makes life easier because I know, this week I want to record 3 Date My Friend threats. And I know that's going to go out and I know people are going to be excited about it. Like, it's always lovely to have someone comment like, my show's on, Mom, be quiet. Like, or like, this is my favorite new series on social media because it means I'm doing something that's bringing value to somebody's life, opposed to just these like one-off hits. So find something that makes sense and then figure out how you can make multiple videos around this concept.
And include other people in it,
include other people. Yeah. Like we got to meet through a friend, but the first time we really hung out was when we were filming my series. And that's so special. Like I've met people through others, but, knew them in a very topical way. But then I got to know them more intimately because they're telling me things they would never do on a date or what they're looking for in a partner. And those are pretty like intimate details. Yeah.
I love that so much. Hannah, this has been such a far-reaching and wide-ranging conversation.
Yeah.
Like we start, about songwriting and what it's like to be in the room. We talked about community building and friendship building. We talked about social media advice. Like it's been so fun.
It's been really fun.
Is there anything that we miss? Is there anything else you want to like talk about or add?
We could talk forever, but I guess like at the end of this, everything for me comes back to people. So for everyone listening at home, think about the people in your life. Think about, why you love them. And just hold them tight.
Oh my God, best advice.
Yeah, this is the important stuff. At the end of the day, going viral, yeah, that's sick. Writing a cool song, yeah, that's awesome. But none of this matters if you don't have people in your life who make you feel cherished and loved and celebrated. And so I think that's the key to take away. And if you're looking for those people in your life, don't give up. They're out there. Everybody's got that best friend who's going to match their freak, and you deserve it.
That is so beautiful. Hannah, where can people find you and follow you on the internets?
Absolutely. I am on Instagram and TikTok at Hannah Avison, HANNAH, A V as in Victor, ISON as in number. Come say hi. I promise I don't bite. I'm real nice.
Yeah.
And more fun content and music to come. And thank you so much for having me. This has been such a fun conversation.
I've had a blast. Thank you so much, Hannah. You'll have to come back soon for a part 2 because we could talk forever.
We literally could talk forever. I'm so down.
Bye, guys.
Bye.